Maybe I could just stand right here, huh? Okay. So I just put this together, so excuse me from reading from this paper. And I'm still kind of shy. I'm working on that. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you guys for having me here and listening to my journey. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Next slide. Sorry. So I am a proud mother of seven. I am a student at now Rio Salado, and I work for Honor Health Cancer Care. In September, I founded Seventh Dream Helping Hearts. It's a nonprofit organization devoted to mentoring at risk teen parents on their path to self sufficiency. So, my journey is deeply personal. I grew up in foster care and I was a parent at the age of 15. I always promised myself that when I was older, I would change foster care. So, for young people like me, I can give them the support that the community gave me, but the support that I didn't get from home as well. So my story became my mission, and my mission became my purpose. Next slide. When I enrolled in Maricopa Community Colleges, it was because an opportunity presented itself, and I couldn't let it pass me by. Again, I longed a dream of building something meaningful, but I never knew where to begin. So returning to school was my answer. It was both exhilarating and terrifying. I tried college before, but each time, especially with the responsibility of raising my children, it forced me to step away. But this time, my kids are old enough, and I wanted to make sure that they knew that I didn't fail, that I would finish what I started. From the moment that I began South Mountain, I received more support than I ever experienced since becoming a mom at 15. My advisors listened to my dream. They helped me choose the right academic path. My professors didn't just teach me, they helped me build the very foundation of my organization. The faculty provided resources that empowered me to grow personally and professionally. They volunteered for my organization and even held donation drives. Even the college presidents extended their support, not only helping me, but also my clients who are students in Maricopa colleges to this day. Maricopa Community College have been so much more than a place to earn a degree. They've been the foundation of my business, a stepping stone in my journey, and a resource hub for my clients and the community I serve. Because of these resources, I've earned three certifications, and I have them listed on a PowerPoint. I've maintained a 3.7 or higher, and I'm close to completing my associate degree. Most importantly, the support I received helped me secure funding for Seventh Dream, Helping Hearts, serving families for nearly 3 years. I am also the proud recipient of the 9 Up Pulliam Scholarship, which allowed me to attend college tuition free. As someone who doesn't qualify for federal aid, the scholarship changed my life. Truly, it has. Without it, I simply wouldn't have been able to pursue my education. Next slide. So, a little bit of wisdom from my journey. I'll go over a couple of them that I have listed. I think all of them are important. Definitely practice time management. I'm probably not a good example of it. I wait till the last minute to do a lot of stuff, but that's only because I have so much on my plate. Time management is very important. I get everything done, but it stresses me out because I wait so long to get it done. Take advantage of every resource available to you, from tutoring to business mentorship. These tools are invaluable. I wouldn't have made it this far without them. Building strong relationships with your peers and professor. It's often said it's not just who you know, what you know, it's who you know. My greatest partnership started right here at Maricopa Colleges. Next slide. And procrastination probably should be the biggest one. Don't procrastinate on your studies. School can be demanding, but falling behind adds unnecessary stress. Remember, your education strengthens your business and your future. And don't go it alone at all. It's a very hard journey, and you definitely need the whole community behind you. Please go to the next slide. So looking ahead, my goals for the future is to continue for my bachelor's degree in behavioral health. I also plan to expand Seventh Dream Helping Hearts to offer um, housing for moms that have aged out of foster care and their children, as well as more sustainable resources. And I also want to continue to mentor adult learners or new entrepreneurs. And yes, success should never be walked alone. And that's all that I have for you today.
So thank you, Shaniqua. So, any questions for Shaniqua? She's probably a very good person to speak with, and the resources that she's mentioning, I print them out for you. So, think of the question while I'm talking about the resources. So, right now, we have a small business pitch going on. The videos are due on May 19th, and the prices are 5,000. No, yeah, no, 3,000, 2,000, and 1,000. But there is a scan code right here. So go ahead and take the take the flyer and maybe see if you can register for class and take advantage of this grant. We do work closely with Small Business Development Center. You do get a mentor for a year to help you. And Shaniqua, you were a part of that grant last year, right? You work with small business development, you work with mentors. So it's a grant, meaning that will help you with your startup, uh, some fees. So you work with your mentor, and then you decide what you need to purchase, and then you go purchase, and we reimburse it. Okay. The second resource that I have here is a Verizon Digital Ready grant program. Right now, it's launched. It is not through us, it's through Verizon, but Rio Salado partnered with Verizon. So I want you to follow directions specifically, and they're giving out $10,000 grant right now. So you have to complete two small courses via Verizon, and they're very useful for small business owners, and especially if you're just starting your business. So here's the flyers. I'm gonna leave them here. You guys can come up and grab some. So yeah, these are the resources Shaniqua was talking about. Anybody has a question for Shaniqua? Yes. Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Brandy from marketing. I know you, Shaniqua. Yeah, so I follow you on LinkedIn and Instagram. So my question is kind of two part. First, I see that you do receive a lot of grants for your Seven Dreams. Where do you find these grants? Where can somebody find these grants? And then the second part of the question is, how do you know if that grant is the right grant for you?
So I do a lot of events like this. I make sure that I stay in my community. I volunteer for different organizations. A lot of the organizations that I volunteer for probably have to do with foster care or something around what I do. So a lot of the grants that I find out about are word of mouth. Um, Walmart is a big funder for me, and it's probably because they're the easiest grant to apply for, but they're not the easiest grant to get. You really have to go out there and make those connections in the community and let them know who you are and what you're doing, and that still doesn't even guarantee the grant. Also, Local First Arizona, they write grants for you. So you connect with them. They write, I believe, 4 grants for free a year. But the great thing about them is when they write the grant, they give you everything that they wrote for you. So you can just use it to apply for a different grant down the line. One thing that I've learned along the way, if you're going to be on social media, follow things like business, grants, things like that. You find out a lot that way. Follow groups that they put grants out there. They tell you what grants they get, and then you just pretty much research the grant. Grants are really, 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 really hard to write. So the grants that I get are really easy to write. So that's one thing. And now, what was your second question? Yeah,
How do you know if the grant is right for you?
and that's pretty much it. Just kind of researching. Once you find out, all of the grants have qualifications. So you read the qualifications, you see what the grant is for, if you qualify for it, because not all grants are for nonprofits either. They're for profit business, but you have to align with what they're doing. So just pretty much researching it, finding out from other people, hey, I got it and I do this or I do that.
All right. Any other questions? Go ahead. You just have to turn it on. And while she's getting ready for her question, I just want to tell for those that are online, I know is streaming. There is a person that is up there watching the streaming and answering all your questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and then we have someone monitoring the chat. Yolanda is there. So she's very knowledgeable. She's one of our mentors as well. So go ahead and put your question in there, and then she'll answer. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. My question. I got a voice. My question was about the business mentor part of it, because there's this one part where you were saying how you had a business mentor, and then there's the other part where you're offering a grant for that. But did you get a free mentor, or how did you get that business mentor without having to come up with maybe a cost, or did you have to get the grant in order to get a business mentor?
Yeah, so when I applied for the grant, so first off, when I first started South Mountain, my professor told me, hey, you should apply for this grant. And it was the venture fund. And I ended up getting that one, and it came with the mentor. And I pretty much had that mentor the whole time because I got two more, I think two more. But also, I have a mentor through, it's not your program, SCORE. SCORE has free business mentors. And then it's also a women's business center. They'll give you a free mentor too. And it's a really good program that they have, and it's called the Dream Builder. I would tell everybody to take that because it starts you at the beginning. It may not get your business started, but when you finish it, you're going to know what to do, or you're going to have the resources to start or keep going.
Take a minute and yeah. So we have George from Small Business Development Center is gonna answer, and then I'll finish it up and explain more. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm George with the Small Business Development Center. Question for you though. Thank you, and your journey has been tremendous. But are you talking about grants for your college education, or are you talking about grants for startup businesses? Because there's two different functionalities, I think. Um,
So, so let me answer that. I think what Shaniqua was talking about, and then you correct me if I'm wrong. She received a grant to start her business. She was a student who had a business, and very often will call on this are the pitch small competitions are for. I will call on student entrepreneur who already has a business, and then if you get selected, then you receive a mentor from college, which is going to be me or Yolanda. And then we also work very closely with Small Business Development Center, which is one of the requirements for the grant that you work with them.
So yes, so we do provide no-cost counseling for startups as well as SCORE. We're both comparable. They'll do the professional retired executives, and they'll do no-cost counseling. And so if you're a student, you can line up with us as counselors. We have 9 counselors in our group here in the Maricopa Center. There's 9 centers around the state of Arizona, but Maricopa is the largest. Maricopa County is the largest, so we were fortunate to have 9 counselors on board, and each counselor has a different degree of expertise. But yes, we do provide that service for students and or for startup businesses. And we are working on the Dream Builders program that we have. I know a lot of our different functions around the county, they have those in good place, and we're working on that. So we have a lot of support. We have a lot of facilities that we can offer, and again, anything we do is at no cost. So whether we spend 1 hour or 20 hours, it doesn't make a difference. We're here to support that person, that business, get them up and running, and stay with them forever if we have to.
Nice. So, and I think you were also asking, like, if I don't have a business, how do I get a mentor to start a business? Right? Okay. If you already have a business, how do you get a mentor? Yes. So, if you're a student entrepreneur at Rio Salado College or Maricopa, we usually send out for calls for student entrepreneurs to apply for those grants, and we do it at least twice a year. Sometimes we have enough money to do it 3 times a year. And then through those grants, you get, but you don't even need to be a student at Rio Salado or Maricopa Community College. The Small Business Development Center is there for our community. So as a community member, you can go in a Small Business Development Center and ask for a mentor, right? And they do have amazing programs that they even um, put all entrepreneurs that are mentoring right now to help each other. So there's an ecosystem going on in there. So take advantage of that as well. Go ahead.
I know we're talking about small business, but and we're talking in a sense of nonprofit as well as for profit. And so my line is also in the line of for profit. And what I was when you're going through the process and you say you get that business mentor, whichever resource that you have, is there a specific field or that that you align the counselor with that person? So say if somebody's in real estate, are you aligning the counselor with that? Or in my case, risk management, would you be aligning a business mentor or counselor, I'm using the terms interchangeably, to help that person or help that business to move along or just to help them out?
Again, in our group with 9 counselors, each counselor has a different degree of expertise, and so when your application comes in, a request comes in, our office administrator will analyze that request and see what your needs are, and then she will align you with that particular counselor who might have that background. So my background has been in banking, so I've been with JP Morgan Chase for 47 years. So I do financial planning, business planning. We have a young lady who is with import export. She's a counselor, and we have some with marketing, and we have some with business backgrounds. We have some counselors who own their own businesses. So we have a variety of expertise in our group that we can help anyone that's looking for whatever function they need.
All right. So now more questions for Shaniqua. Because George is staying over, Shaniqua will have to go soon. Yes, go ahead. Let's say your name.
My name is Newbert. My question is, since you are a nonprofit, I know from background, a lot of nonprofit need to have a board. Do you? How was the process of you setting up a board of advisor or any board?
I think I turned it off. Okay. So my board originally did start with friends and family. So that's how I originally started off. It was with people that I know that had the same vision in mind. And then from there, my board expanded to people from the community that supported my vision or was already working in the same field. So that's how I built my board.
Well, one quick comment. Thank you for that. So, just a clarification: we are funded by the SBA, so we can only work with profit corporations, profit companies, profit individuals. So, if you're looking for to start up a nonprofit, then SCORE is your best
Yeah.
foundation to go to
Yeah.
because they will also work primarily with nonprofit organizations.
Nonprofit.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have to work primarily always with profit corporations because that's what the SBA has dictated for us to do. So there's kind of this distinction between SCORE and SBDC. We do
Nice.
counseling, but they do nonprofits and we do basically profits.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. And very good question. Thank you. We had another question. The mic. Go ahead.
Hi, and I don't know this just out there to anyone that knows, but it's like he said, certain services are only available for for-profit businesses. If you're starting a nonprofit business, um, does that discount you from applying for certain grants or the competition? Is there a stipulation that it has to be a for-profit?
yeah, so not at Rio Salado. Our competition is okay for profit or nonprofit. You just
Okay.
pitch your business.
Okay.
Um, Small Business Development Center is primarily working with for profit, but SCORE is working for nonprofit. Shaniqua, you want to add a little bit? Um, I think the big pitch competition that goes among all Maricopa community colleges are mostly for profit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you want to add a little bit more on that if you have any information?
Yeah, I originally wasn't gonna apply because I thought they were for profit, but basically you just have to prove to them like what services you're offering and where your income is coming from.
Okay.
But you can still apply for the ones within the Maricopa College.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So I just go ahead. One more question? Okay. I'll give you the mic. Give me a second. Okay. We'll have more time for questions. So,
Just my last question for you was, when you decided to, when once you made your mind up to get to form your nonprofit, who helped you? Like I hear SCORE, but then I know there's like processes. Like he asked about a board, but who helped you with the formation of it? If you when you're going through that process.
Mike. Mike. Mike.
Dr. McHenry,
So
he's a
Bruce
professor
McGinn,
here, but
yeah,
what is he? He's something else.
he's a program director at South Mountain Community College. So Shaniqua took advantage of all community colleges. She was taking classes there, but then she came to Rio. That's why she was qualified to get grant there, and then she came here. So, but we can help you too. So if you're a Rio student, I'll give you my card at the end. I came prepared. I brought my business cards. So, and Yolanda is online helping us out. She's also can help you with this. So we can get you started. Okay? All right. Perfect. So I'm going to move on with the presentations because we have 30 more minutes and then I'm sure everyone is hungry. I mean, Professor Ross and I are standing between you and lunch. So let us tell you what we want to tell you before you get too hungry. Okay, Ross, you want to come up and present yourself and
Video for okay. And I just do you have the clicker or do I just okay, okay, gotcha. Get those a little out of the way. So, welcome everybody. Welcome. Thank you for having us here, and thank you, Dr. Davidoff, for uh, she does so much for Rio Salado. She really puts these events together. You know, takes her job seriously, puts these events together, and attempts to form the community. So I appreciate that. Gotcha. I teach, I mainly teach small business and marketing classes, EPS 180, which is you're planning for a small business, SBS 204, which is a beginning business class. As okay,
him, right? And I just want to say in our entrepreneurship and small business courses, I hire practitioners. I hire people who is doing it up there every day on a regular basis, not somebody just went through school and got marketing degree. And then Professor Ross is just that. And when I saw his expertise and stuff, I'm like, I want you to teach my students. And that's how every professor is in my program. Okay.
yeah, and she's right. My qualifications for the job for to be hired here at Rio Salado was because I had 10 or more years of practical experience. So what I really like, I teach the small business classes, but I also like the digital marketing, internet marketing approach and strategies. I'm sort of a digital strategist overall. So. Uh, the title of our presentation today is I'll Make Him an Offer That He Can't Refuse. Enhance your value to others and network like a godfather.
I told you he comes out with these interesting titles. Like one time he's like, I need to talk to you, and then what was the acronym you were talking about?
oh,
Something about cats.
Oh, it's a storytelling structure that is used for all the Hollywood movies. Cars. It's called. I came up with this acronym because that's one way to brand yourself is you come up with something nobody else has, and then they have to look to you to find out what it is. So even though it's the Hollywood formula story writing, which is everywhere, I was like, it's silly, but be an intentional, willful, playful, and intelligent cat, which means you tell your story, starting with your backstory. You have external desires, intentional, willful. No, be. I might get a couple of the letters mixed up right now, but you have internal desires, external desires. You hit a wall. Um, there are challenges, willful, intelligent. Put me on the spot over here.
I'm so sorry,
But
but we can move on with the
that's
presentation.
quite all right. There's conflicts, achievements, and resolutions, or transformations, I should say. That's the CAT approach. If you tell your story in this framework, it's a proven framework to where people become interested and personally involved in the story. So they get invested. They'll buy tickets to the movie. They'll watch your stuff, and if you're a marketer, they will be so interested that the story sells them. It's called story selling. You don't have to sell them. That is the sales. So if you don't like the hard pitch approach, and most people don't, that's story selling. So who knows where this quote is from? Anybody? That's right. Marlon Brando. If you haven't seen The Godfather, next slide, please. Yeah. He the question here is, how are you going to get this guy on board? How are we going to get him to make him this is a mob movie. To make him do what we want him to do, and he says, I'll make him an offer that he can't refuse. So if the mob asks you this, you don't want that. However, part of and why I came up with this topic for a networking event is how can you best network in order to connect with people in a quick, authentic, and meaningful way. And part of that is by offering your services. Next slide. As an example, when we saw in the invite that there's a free lunch, how many people is like, okay, that's a plus. I might show up to that. So they're giving us lunch. So that's just an easy example about that. Networking. Does anybody have an idea of what networking really is, or just yeah, shout it out, or it's on.
Networking is like making connections mouth to mouth, uh, in person or social media or emails or basically any way a person can meet other people, whether it's personal relationships or business relationships or potential business collaborations. Like for instance, networking could help with a small business find potential investors when they're doing what you just said, story selling, like the story sell itself. I mean, to quote Peter Goober, film producer, storytelling is not the icing on the cake, it is the cake.
I like it. So, thank you. That's a really I'm sorry.
Oh, I consider networking to be something like business shopping. You're putting yourself out there in the community and abroad, really being specific about aligning yourself with other like-minded businesses that can help you, that you can help, and building relationships.
Yes, thank you. What's your name?
Narcissa.
Narcissa.
Mhm.
Nice to. That's the first time I've heard your name. It's nice, Narcissa. Thank you. Um, we're gonna go. Are there any other questions, or we're gonna switch the slides? Sorry about that. Yes, coffee. Yes, that's the slide. Thank you. So, I Googled it. What's the definition of networking? And according to the dictionary, the online dictionary, the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. So you're right, Narcissa. We're putting ourselves out there, and what we're hoping for is an exchange of value. However, if you know how you say what goes around comes around, the more you give, the more you get. Next slide, please. So I asked the questions. Well, what are the best ways in a room like today to make meaningful, lasting, and fruitful connections? How are we going to meet people and do more than just say, thank you, take their business card and, put it down and, hopefully you connect. But how can we up the odds that you're really going to connect? Next slide, please. Well, this one I came up with. The art of who you know and how they feel when they're around you. So it's often said that we make our decisions first. It has to do with like the crocodile brain and all this stuff um, by how we feel. And then the next step when we say yes is from the mind. So, if somebody says no and they don't want to, say you have somebody to go out with you and they don't want to, they might say yes and give you a fake number, but they're not gonna, if they don't feel good about you, it's not gonna work. And one way to make people feel good around you is to give them something to help them, to give them something that they need or want. It's just nice. Oh, can I get you a bottle of water? Can I? It's just basic common courtesy sometimes. I haven't spoke publicly in a while, so next slide, please. So the usual approach is wait, that'll be the next one. Um, the You're not going to start with what you need. You're going to start with what you can provide. So sometimes when we go to networking events, we're looking to get something out of it, right? Meet people who might be able to help us. What I do is I flip that framework on and just switch the order. Um, Look to meet people who you could give something to that really helps them. If you have a program going on that will um, give grant money or put them in the right direction, that's helpful. A lot of information you gave, Shaniqua, was very, very helpful. I wrote it down. Local First Arizona. Free grant writing? That's good. That's a good resource, by the way. So, next slide, please. The usual approach the usual approach when we meet people, oh, what do you do? Um, how long have you been doing it for? And this is good information, but it's once you know this, what I propose is active listening in a way of what they do is see if there's some way, some like roadblock or obstacle, something that they're struggling with or that's, a current or a present challenge they have. And if they want to get from point A to point B, do you have something that could help them get there? So, yeah, next slide. And part of the usual approach, by the way, is that people often sometimes they feel interviewed. Oh, I do this, I do that. Okay, that's good, but it's not going to hook somebody necessarily. So I do what's called a second level approach, and that is to go deeper. Uh, and what that means is basically the first level approach is what we usually think of is what comes from you, what we can do, or what we want or need. But the second level approach is about the other. It's about your customer. It's about your friends. It's about helping them, and hopefully that forms a good community. I teach my students in the classes that I teach constantly. I mean, I harp on this and harp on this and harp on this, and it probably takes longer to do my papers for that. But it's so important, these foundational approaches, to focus on the fundamentals of business. And that is to define with extreme clarity who your ideal customer is. And if you have products or services that can help them, how you can align your products or services. Um, does anybody have an example of either a business that they're doing or a service that they're offering, who their ideal customer would be? Like, who do you want to help? I guess is the question.
Okay, so my customer or consumer market, my target customer is single mothers with disabilities.
Okay.
Being a single mother with disabilities, uh, over the course of the last few years, have presented me with so many challenges
Okay.
and obstacles. At first I had a for-profit business, and then when I got injured and just facing all the challenges that I faced, it really opened my eyes to a whole new can of worms. And for me, it was, I know that I'm not the only one. So I think that's kind of what's fueling my drive. And my ideal customer is single mothers with disabilities.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, nurses. So I'm going to go a little deeper in that, and it's always good to be specific. So if your ideal who you serve has single mothers with disabilities, you're not going to look at me and say, he's got to use a single mother, So I'm not in your target audience.
Okay.
So, and that also helps you. Just this is an aside; it doesn't have anything to deal. This is the marketing person in me because I get a kick out of it. It helps you refine your messaging through your advertisements, through your social media posts. If you put roofs on houses, you're going to talk to people who need a roof, a new roof. Um, I saw the mic pass.
Well, my target audience is that. Well, I'm an online seller on eBay, so
Oh, good.
my target market is the kind of people who also sell stuff online, but also people who are high functioning autistic or Asperger's syndrome, but basically just advocate for those people as well as sell to them.
Okay. Real quick, because I want to spotlight the
But
both of you.
based on what I'm based on what Narcissa is selling, one thing that life has taught me is that the road to stardom is often filled with obstacles and hardships.
Yes, it is. I don't understand all of that, but yes, it is. It's obstacles and hardships. You said okay. I I,
Yes.
I was like this is a word I don't know, but I didn't hear it. So it really is. And just to spotlight you, we'll start here. How do you help your audience? Like I just want to know, let everybody know what you do.
When I sell on eBay, I promote listings and
Okay,
I give them counter offers, discounted. And when they give me an offer that's kind of lowball, I counter offered that makes it both mutually beneficial both to them and as well as myself.
good, good. Okay, that's awesome. So in case anybody in the room is an eBay seller, you know who to talk to. Narcissus, how do you help your single mothers with disabilities? What do you help them to do?
Well, it's in the beginning stages, but ultimately, like you said, being a single mother and
Yeah,
having all sons, what my focus is providing mentorships and positive male influence to the children of the single mothers that are male. Later down the road, I do want to include something that's going to include young girls as well. But for right now, that be on giving the mothers assistance with helping to steer and guide their sons.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. That's really nice. It's really good. And so, isn't it interesting that both of their businesses is to help people? They're actually an example of what I'm talking about. Yet another question over here, and I'll go grab it. What's your name, by the way?
Alan Wilcox at your service. You can call me
At yours
Tex.
as well. Tex.
Tex,
All right,
like
Tex.
a
Thank you
Pleasant,
much.
Texas, and my favorite cartoon maker, Tex Avery.
Tex Avery. I know the name. I got to look up the style. Thank you.
Like, try watching Roger Rabbit or
Okay.
watching Looney Tunes.
Yeah, that I know. That's where I've seen the name.
Bugs Bunny and Roger Rabbit are brothers.
No kidding.
Tex Avery created both of them.
All right. Cool. That's just cool. I never knew that. What's your name?
My name is Deshaun Robinson, and I am the owner of, or founder of a wildlife conservationist business called Zetherian Biovance. My customer base is marine biologists, wildlife biologists, and zoologists and ecologists. So it covers plant, sea, and land.
Crazy. Okay. There's a lot of marine biology in or in Arizona, obviously in Scottsdale, right? That's why you're based here. That's awesome. Did you have a question, or did you just want to
I was
introduce?
kind of trying to answer what you were saying about how you help people
Yes.
essentially, and basically my customer. So what I do to help people is I provide them with state of the art technology
Mhm.
and also with their data fragmentation. So I
Okay.
offer software that allows them to streamline their research and the tools they need to go out and do the research as well.
Okay. Okay. You know that emoji that like mind blown? Yeah, that's me right now. Like hearing you. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So you know some his audience. Uh, Thank you. I appreciate you pitching in right there. Um, what we'll do next? So, we're going to wrap it up here. Can I go deeper into what approach? Into the second level approach. I like that. Oftentimes we come from a state of what we want to do. And I this was a hard part of marketing for me because it was also trying to develop yourself as a person. There always was a focus from my online mentors and people. You have to serve your audience. You have to do this, and I'm like, I'm not into it as much as I feel like I should be, like they're saying it. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh gosh, I kind of felt bad. So I'm like, am I like not the greatest person or anything? It's like I know I'm good, but it's like I'm not selfless. So that's why I call it the second level approach, is because it has to motivate you. Like you matter is what it is. If you, Shaniqua, if your audience of who you help with your nonprofit, you want to do that, right? Yeah, you're not just doing it, especially a nonprofit. You're not just doing it for kicks. You're doing it for them. It's about yourself first. It's an inverse way to look at it. It's just that you take care of yourself, but to go deeper is to think of others, and that's why I came up with that. Yeah. Plus, you're not going to read it in a textbook, and so if you want to know more, you got to ask me. So, next slide, please. So basically, this just summarizes it. It's not what can I get; it's how can I help. Next slide. So who here would like to learn how best to network like the Godfather? Okay, got a couple people. Next slide. So uh, Marlon Brando asked, "The Godfather of all," Ask, how can I help you, my friend? Now, if he asks you this, just say, I'm good. I'm okay. You don't want to get into a debt with this guy, into hooked in. Next slide, please. Just some steps that you can take to be a good networker. The usual: be friendly, be cool. I like to laugh, to smile, but I just wrote a couple down. Understand their problems, roadblocks, and obstacles. See how you might be able to help them. Deliver value even in surprising ways. And I have two examples of this. Address people by name. That's why I wanted to make sure. Um, I think people feel more included, and they're like, I hear the most important word in the English language is, or probably all languages, is your own name. So I'm trying to get better at that. Hope I did a good job. Ask for their preferred ways to communicate. Do they like text? Would they rather get a phone call? Because that's fallen by the wayside. Is email the best? To follow up. And to end it here, when I said, or to put two more notes: deliver value even in surprising ways. Um, on your business card, perhaps you can put on the back an inspirational quote. You can do a QR code that takes people to your website, but like a kind of like a pre-page that is just personalized to them. Hey, it was great meeting you. These kinds of things have this way of thinking is what I go by. I'd like to share them with you, and then they're on your website. So it's a way of getting people to your website as well, but you're giving to them in order to get them. And another one. Let's just say for Shaniqua, let's just say I had a marketing agency that specialized in helping the promotion of nonprofits. But what I would do is a follow up. Perhaps I could say, hey, I'd like to learn more about your nonprofit. I do some things myself in that area. Um, can I follow up with, can I call you or text you, or you want to meet for a cup of coffee, um, or maybe I have a time management course. Maybe I'm a coach on that. That maybe I want to. I think could be useful or relate. It could be
What he
useful for
just
me
did?
too.
Do you see what he just did? So what skill did he use? What skill did Professor Ross use right here, right now, to take advantage of his what he's offering? Yes, make an offer that, but he also listened, right? So he listened. So listen when people talk, because a lot of times people will tell you what they want, right?
They'll
Go ahead.
tell you what you want. You give them what they need. And the last slide. There's a motivational coach and sales trainer from a little back when, uh, right? You can have anything in life you want if you will just help other people get what they want. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Ross. I really appreciate it. I have PowerPoint slides too, but I'm not going to do this to you because I think lunch is ready. Sasha, can we make sure the lunch is ready? So, what I wanted to do is I want to share with you a couple books I've been reading and a couple of researches I've been doing. I've been at Rio Salado as a faculty chair for small business and entrepreneurship for 7 years. I'm finishing up my 7th year. Over the years, we helped probably about 50 to 70 students. And if I have to go back and count, maybe it's more, right, Michelle? Because people are coming and leaving. I'm also a faculty co-chair for Innovation Think Tank. So we created an Innovation Think Tank here, and Sasha and I have been working very closely, learning a lot of time management and project management skills from Sasha. So this is one of the skills that I know. First of all, what it says here, it's great. Help people to get there, but also help yourself to understand. And that's why I asked Shaniqua specifically to talk about some do's and don'ts for student entrepreneurs. And then she was very kind to share what do's and don'ts were really meaningful to her. A lot of times I would talk to my students when they reach out to me for great grievance or complain about the course, or they're late on the assignment, or they need resources, and we'll have a conversation. And I'll say, well, you're behind a little bit on here or there. What happened? Well, I had this and that was going on. But a lot of times I will challenge a student and say, where are you in all of this, right? if you don't well, I have my family, I have a single mom, right, or single dad, or sometimes people are raising foster children, sometimes people are raising, and this is our population. Our students raise their siblings, sometimes their aunties that are helping their sister or their brother. So but a lot of times I challenge my students is, where are you? Because if you're not going to help yourself, who is going to help others, right? So this book I've been reading that is amazing, it kind of goes with the quote where you're talking, is talking about now I'm blanking the book. We just did the review on the book. Diamond Cutter by Michael Gesher. Michael Gesher. Okay, so Michelle's gonna look it up. So the book is talking about, and look him up, and then he has a couple of YouTube videos. The YouTube videos are pretty old, but they're very relevant. So what he's talking, his story a little bit in the book that he's sharing. He went to be among monks in Tibet, and he was learning everything they were teaching. So he was there for a few years. No, Michael Gesher. Michael Gesher. Michael Gesher Roach. Yes. So he's in the book. He's talking about how he was there, and he was learning everything from monks, and then all of a sudden they told him, "We want you to go in and start a business in New York on diamond." And he's like, "You want me to do what?" So he had to go in and start a diamond business in New York, where he knew nothing about diamond business, and even didn't even have a network to start with. So he started learning everything about it, and he wrote a book, and there's 7 steps, I believe, in that, if I can remember, but I no, there's not 7 steps, but there's steps to what he's talking about. I just remember chapter 7. In chapter 7 he's talking about that sometimes we do things that we don't really mean to do, and then we become very hard on ourselves, and it's kind of stopping us moving forward. So he's talking about seeds. He's talking about planting the seeds, and then if you want to open your business, it's all about planting the seeds, right? And he said sometimes we plant bad seeds, and a lot of times for the student entrepreneurs, like, it's not working, what should I do? And they get stuck in that moment where all this bad experience is actually stopping them from being creative, right? And he talks about deactivate those bad seeds, and it's just experience. One of my teachers just told me yesterday when we were on the phone, because sometimes I call my mentors, and I was like, okay, I need help. And he said, well, a lot of times, don't forget, he said, a lot of times we look at the experiences as a bad or good, but they're just that. There are experiences. Because if you have not had that bad experience, how do you know what to do with the good experience, right? And then what to do next. So a lot of times, so remember that. I really suggest that book. That book is very interesting, not only for business mind, but also for you, for your self development. And he talks about just that. If you want to help yourself, so this is what he says. If you want to start a business, find someone who wants to start a business and invite them to Starbucks. He calls it 4 steps, 4 Starbucks steps. So invite them to Starbucks. You don't have to invite them to Starbucks. We have a beautiful Rio cafe here. Okay. So invite them to Rio Salado. If you need, let me know. I'll show up. And then be very serious about it. Make that person to make the steps on how to open a business or whatever it is, right? And help them to solve their problem, because you have the same problem. And people asking, like, I don't know anything about business. I just want to start a business. How do I help that person that want to start a business? When you're very intentional about it to help someone else, the person will start researching, and you will start researching. It could be whatever it is, right? Solve that problem, plant that seed for someone else, and that seed will grow in your yard. It was interesting in the YouTube video. The woman was saying, well, I want to find a boyfriend. I'm very lonely. And she was, I don't know, 30, 35 years old. And he said, where are the lonely people? She's like, well, I don't know. She's like, what about nursing home? He goes, this is what you do. You go to nursing home, you start volunteering, you help those lonely people, and then you'll find a boyfriend. And then she calls him back. She's like, okay. She's like, he goes, okay, you found a boyfriend. She's like, oh my God, he's everything I ever wanted to. So it's my dream man. She's like, okay, and he goes, this is what you do now. You are going to invite your boyfriend and meet him at your apartment, but tell all your single friends that you're going to meet at this cafe. And then when your boyfriend shows up, you give him 2 big glasses of water. Okay? So she's like, okay, what's the point? So you give him 2 big glasses of water, and then now you drive to the cafe where all your friends already there, and then you walk with him. So your friends were like, wow, and then when he sits down, you start ordering, he would want to go to the bathroom. So he's going to excuse himself. And when he leaves, they're going to say, where'd you get that boyfriend? And you're going to tell him all about nursing home. So this way, the lines in nursing home are going to be, because you're going to solve the problem for lonely people. And so he says, if only that would be the way to go. But it's a funny story, and I want to stick it with you. I want us to stick with you. Read this book. It's very amazing. It will help you a lot to plant the seeds. But I also see a lot in my students that a lot of times we're so hard on ourselves with those bad experiences. And it's just simple. You deactivate those bad seeds and you learn from that experience. Okay? Another book. Is the lunch ready, Sasha? Lunch is ready? Okay. Two more minutes. So another book that I want to tell you is No Bad Parts. I just started reading it. It's the Professor Richard Schwartz. He wrote that book, and he has some meditations in there. He's actually talking about system thinking. And system thinking is very big. I've learned about system thinking in my master's program. I learned about systems thinking in my doctoral program. So all it is about network. Network is a system thinking, right? It's what I just taught you. If you want to solve, it's just whatever it says here. Help others to solve their problem. It's all about system thinking. Okay, so read that book. It's very interesting. He talks about that we have all kinds of parts in us, and sometimes some of our parts are managers, some of our parts are protectors. So really get to know those parts and get to know yourself. And I've been doing some meditations that he's talking about, like really look at who you are, right? Really help me. And I'm trying to teach my students as well, where are you in all of this? Because sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves. So I'm going to leave you with this. Yes, help others, but define your problem first. Then find someone who has the same problem to help, and then you on the journey. Okay? All right. So we're going to go grab lunch, and then we're going to eat lunch. And then what we're going to do, thank you. And what we're going to do is, actually, there's not that many of us, so we're going to each grab a mic, and I'll give you about 3 minutes to talk about your business and practice your elevator speech. Ross and I can give you feedback, right? And Georgia will help us too. So we'll just do this as a coaching session for you. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. 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 Okay. And those that are online guys, Yolanda, could you please put the documents for the Verizon grant for them and for the slides, the pitch competition code as well. And yes, and then put my information in there so they can contact me. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, to show up online and ask questions. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye. All right, let's go eat lunch.